Okay, we're going to look at solving exponential equations. It's a lot like solving regular equations, just you've got exponents with it. Now, so say you have something like this, 3 to the x plus 1 power equals 9. Well, the key to exponential equations is in the equation, you've got to set it up so that you've got the same base on both sides. So you change 9 to 3 squared. They set up the question so they work like this, all right. Now, once you have the base the same, the only way the two sides could be equal is if their exponents are equal. So what you do is you can let the exponents, the x plus 1, equal the 2, and then you just solve that equation. Taking away 1 from both sides, you get x must equal 1, and that's it. Here's an important kind of trick that they use sometimes. You get 3 to the t equals 1, and you're going, how do I make the same base? But then the trick is anything to the 0 power is 1. That's the 0 exponent rule. So instead of 1, we write it as 3 to the 0. So we make the base the same. So 3 to the t equals 3 to the 0. Then the only way these can be equal is if the tops are equal. So t equals 0 is the solution. Let's look at another question here. This question's a little bit more challenging. You're looking at this 5 to the t plus 3 times 5 to the t times 5. That little dot means multiplication. There equals 400. Well, what you do is this is a factoring problem. You see this 5 to the t? It goes into both things. So you write it down once, 5 to the t, and then you put a bracket times 1, plus there's still 3 times 5 here. You write the 3 times 5 here, and that's really 15. Well, 1 plus 15 is really 16, so we just simplify that. And then you divide both sides by the 16. 400 divided by 16 is 25. And 25 is 5 squared, so the t must equal 2. Let's look at another question here. Okay, now this one looks pretty scary. It looks pretty weird. It's actually a trinomial. And the first two things here, remember, have to multiply to equal this first thing here. Well, 3 to the 2x is 3 to the x times 3 to the x, because you add x plus x when you multiply two things of the same base. So that's how you get the first thing. Now, to get minus 81, and to get 80, it must be 81 times 1, because that gives me the minus 81. And if I go minus 81 times 3 to the x plus 1 times 3 to the x, it gives me this thing. So you're just factorizing a trinomial, but it's a little bit tricky. Now, if you have this bracket and this bracket equals 0, there's two different ways that could equal 0. The first bracket could equal 0. 3 to the x minus 81 equals 0. And then you just solve that equation. You add 81. 3 to the x must equal 81. If 3 to the x was 81, then 81, it would equal 0. And the same thing over here, 3 to the x plus 1 equals 0. We let it equal 0, so we subtract 1. So we have two things here. Well, 3 to the x, there is no power we can put anything to get a negative number. Those powers have to be, just doesn't work. So it's undefined. The only one that works is 3 to the x is 81. 3 to the x is 3 to the 4th power. So x equals 4. Just look at these notes really carefully. You should be okay. Now, this question looks hard, but there's just a simple trick, and you get used to it. You can use it again and again. This is a trinomial, but how is this something squared? Well, if we take p to the 1/2 power, and then we put it to the 2nd power, 2 times a half is 1. Well, there's your something squared, p to the 1/2 squared like that. So the first thing to do, the big trick, is to, instead of writing p, write it as p to the 1/2 all to the 2nd power. Now it's a trinomial. P to the 1/2 is squared. So you go p to the 1/2 and p to the 1/2. There they are, squared, multiplied together. Well, you're looking for two numbers. It's just a trinomial that multiplies to equal 36. But hey, it's got to be a negative times a negative, and it's got to combine to equal 13. So 9 minus 9 times minus 4 is positive 36, and minus 9 times p to the half and minus 4 times p to the half combine, the outside and inside, to equal this minus 13 p to the half. So you just do FOIL on it. It's just like a regular trinomial. It just looks a bit scarier. Now these two parts must equal 0. P to the half minus 9 must equal 0, and p to the half minus 4 equals 0. Two ways to make this 0. Then you add 9 here, you add 4 here. Now p to the half, we'd like it to be p to the 1. So if you do the same thing, if you square p to the half, square it, 1/2 times 2 gets you back to p to the 1. So if we square 9, 9 times 9, we get 81. So one of our answers is p to the half, we just square p to the half. And whatever we do to one side, we do the same to the other. So we square 4 and we get 16. 1/2 times 2 is 1. That's p to the 1, p equals 16. Okay, we have a whole lot of questions to practice. And I've done sort of complete memos with all the steps. So you should be able to follow it. Some of them are straightforward and some are a bit more challenging. Okay.